All right, y'all, I've got this old wooden cookie box. It's got a wooden knob. It's got the plastic inset in it. The inset's intact. It's clean. But the outside is just really dated. So we are going to fix this up farmhouse style. All right, y'all, I've got this old wooden cookie box. It's got a wooden knob. It's got the plastic inset in it. The inset's intact. It's clean. But the outside is just really dated. So we are going to fix this up farmhouse style. Alrighty, I've got it all sanded now. Got it roughed up a little bit. Ready to accept a new coat of paint. Well, even after sanding with 80 grit paper, there's still a lot of crud on this. So I've got some rubbing alcohol and a soft rag. See, I'm trying to get all that dark brown off, and it is coming off. It just takes some doing. There are a lot of products out there you can use to clean this, but because this is an item to use in the kitchen, should be food safe, I want to be real careful about what I use on it. So, you know, rubbing alcohol will get things wet and then just evaporate off. It doesn't leave the wood wet, which can cause it to warp. Scrape some of this off. Let's see if I can get this over where you can see what I'm doing. Y'all, I apologize for the angle of this video. I got a new cell phone and now my camera cradle won't fit it, so I gotta get another camera cradle. Anyway, there's a lot of years of wax and shellac and who knows what all on this piece. But once I get it, and I'm going to use chalk paint, so I don't have to have it all off, but I would like to get a lot of it off. I'm just afraid that it would just cause a problem with the paint long term if I didn't get some more of it off. I want to show y'all something that's often overlooked when people are working on these old pieces, and that's the bottom. I don't know if y'all can see, but this has got all kinds of build-on crud. I don't know what it is. It could be old food residue, it could be old wax, I'm not sure, but it's really nasty. And so I'm going to take this scraper and I'm going to scrape it off, and then I'm going to clean it. Let me show y'all what's coming off of here. Now, can y'all see? Well, let's see. Can y'all see that right there? That's just on one little spot. I can look at this and see that it's not everywhere, so it leads me to believe it's maybe food residue. You know, your kitchen cabinets, crumbs get built up on them, and they don't always get wiped up. Sometimes something gets set on them. So when you're working on something like this, you really want to make sure you turn it over and you do the bottom. I'll make sure that the bottom's painted, that it's clean, that it's sanded, free of residue, wiped up, free of whatever weird stuff might be on there. This has got, like you see in a lot of these old pieces, this actual bottom is like a pressed wood product. Now, can you see there? It's kind of waffle weave looking. I'll clean that off real good with alcohol, and I will probably put a coat of paint on it too. Just make it look a lot cleaner. So y'all want to see what's coming off. See, that's varnish, it's food, that's just general ick stuff. when you do a piece, you always just want to make sure that it looks like it's finished. By turning it over and doing the bottom, you give it a more professional look, in my opinion. It looks more completed and finished. It looks like you took care and that, you know, you really want it to do a nice job. All right, well, I'm gonna finish cleaning it up. Just wanted to let y'all know about that. Well, I'm back with this little wooden cookie box that I've cleaned up, and I've decided that I'm going to use this Waverly chalk paint in the color moss. I looked online, and according to Sherwin-Williams, a sagey green is one of the trending colors for farmhouse decor. Since this is so plain and boxy, I feel like it meets the farmhouse decor requirement, and so we're going to go with this green and see what we like. I've got a new tripod, so I'm going to try and get you turned so you can see the box, and hopefully it'll be a better angle than what we had. Alrighty, so I'm going to pour some of my paint out here on a little paper plate. My paintbrush is a little bit too big to dip in, and besides, this is such a small bottle, I hate to get it all dried out. So I'm just going to start painting this and see what we think. I think that's a real pretty color. What do y'all think? Haven't decided how I'm going to finish it out yet. Maybe I'll put a stencil on it. Maybe I could put a white stencil on it. That would be kind of a neat reverse idea, wouldn't it? So anyway, I'm going to paint, and I'm going to speed this up so that y'all don't have to be bored with me painting the whole thing. Well, I'm back on day 2 to put another coat of paint on this old cookie box. But y'all, let me just take a minute to tell you, I live in Marshall, Texas, and it is hot. I just checked the temperature. It's 94 degrees with a feels like of 104 degrees. And y'all, it's 6:15 in the afternoon. So we are in for a long, hot summer, which means I'm going to be spending lots of time under the AC out here in the craft cottage, showing y'all some fun upcycles. But anyway, let me show you what this box looks like with the first coat of paint on it. Here it is. You see it's a little rough. It needs second coat. But this, I'm real happy with the sage green, y'all. I think this is going to be a real nice departure from the white that everyone puts in their kitchens. It's a great color for farmhouse and also for cottage and for French country. This color is listed on all the trending colors for those decors. And so to do something a little bit fun, I'm not going to put a black stencil on it. I'm going to attempt a white stencil. And of course, I'm going to make my own with my Cricut. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking to y'all and get busy painting. Well, okay, I've got the second coat on. I'm going to let it set and get really good and dry. And meanwhile, I'm going to work on my stencil. Y'all, what I don't know about a Cricut could fill books. So I'm not going to show y'all my long, convoluted method of making this thing. I'm just going to go play with it and make it. And then when I'm ready to put it on, we'll talk about it then. But meanwhile, as you can see, it doesn't take a long time to paint one of these little pieces. It takes just, you know, just a few minutes and a little bit of your time. And, you know, this little bottle of paint was probably $2 or $3. So, and then an inexpensive brush. So y'all can do these kinds of little updates yourself. You don't have to purchase them from somebody that did it. You don't have to worry. It's just paint. If you mess it up, just paint over it. If you put a big glob of paint on it, sand it off. It's really easy, and y'all can do this. Well, I'm hoping to finish up this cookie box today. Thanks for hanging with me. So I've got the green on it, and I love the color, but I think it's just a smidge too dark. So I've been playing around, and on this side, I put some clear wax with just a drop of the white plaster in it, and it's lightening it up just a little bit. So I'm going to turn y'all around so you can watch me, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint this clear wax with this little drop of white in it over it. And what I'm doing is painting it on and then wiping it off. Paint it on, wipe it off. Not a real thick, heavy coat, just a little bit of a coat, just to kind of give it a little bit of a light look. And I think it's also going to give it a little bit of a streaky look. So let's go do that now, and we'll see what we think. Okay, here it is. I hope you can tell that it's a little bit lighter. It's got a little bit of dimension in it, a little bit of streakiness. It brought it more back to the color that the paint was when it went on wet. As you know, it dried a little darker. I did the bottom edge, I did the top edge, did the top. Can y'all see that it's a little streakier, a little lighter? So we're going to let that set for a bit, and while that sets, I'm going to get started on my stencil. All right, my whitewash wax job has set, and I've got my little stencil made and put on here. And boy, let me tell you, I think using those rub-on transfers that you see a lot of the crafters using is probably way easier than doing this. But this is what I've got, so this is what I did. I will say that it did take some work weeding out all these little letters and things, but you know, I could have used something a little simpler, and I wanted something a little fancier. So I think I told y'all before, the way I stencil is I use a little stencil brush, and I go up and down. Just put a little bit on your brush and go up and down over the stencil. I'm going to put 2 or 3 coats on this because that just seems to work for me, to put several coats on it. Even with these Cricut stencils are real nice because they stick down. And you know, if you don't have a Cricut and you just have a stencil, you know, a stencil on like the plastic paper, you can buy a spray adhesive that you can spray on the back of your plastic stencils and use that to stick your stencils down, and then they peel up pretty easy. The only issue I found with that is that it's kind of hard to clean that adhesive off the back of your plastic stencils. It seems to want to stay there, and you know, so then they're not nice and clean. They have a kind of a sticky residue on them that you have to deal with. But I mean, I do use it. I use it on several of my stencils, and I just deal with it. So I really hope that this white turns out really pretty on here. I'm really hoping this just turns out to be all I envision it to be. So you see, this goes pretty fast because I'm not putting it on real thick and heavy. I don't like to put it on thick and heavy because I just don't. And you know, if it looks a little worn, a little not pristine, that's okay because this is an old piece. But I've got one coat on, and I'll let this sit for a while, and then I'll come back and put another coat on, and then we will peel the stencil off and see what we've got. Well, okay, I've put 2 coats on the stencil. It looks to me like it's covered relatively well. So I'm going to peel it off. We're going to see what we have. Let's see if I can turn y'all where you can see better. Maybe there. Well, what do y'all think? The little holes in the A's and the E's didn't come out real well, but that's okay with me because this was really small and tedious. I maybe could take a little teensy paintbrush and try and fix that, and I'll think about it. I'm not always real successful at that. But what do y'all think? I chose to use French writing. That's been real popular lately, but I always look at it and wonder, what does that really mean? I mean, I've looked at some things that were kitchenware, and it was talking about flowers in the garden, I think, by using an online translator. So this says cafe, and y'all don't laugh, I don't have a French accent, I have a Southern accent, which is a restaurant, a place to eat in France, and gâteau sexe, which is one of the many translations for cookies that I found. So at least it's kitchen-y, it's something about snacks and cookies, and I think it just turned out real cute. Now, let's put the lid on it and see how that looks. Still got the paint on it, but y'all know, I think I'm gonna paint that little knob white. And then that is just gonna, and then I'll put it together, and then we won't have anything left to do but to seal it with some Rust-Oleum 2X to make sure that none of my beautiful paint wears off very easily. Well, okay, we are finishing up the little cookie box. I've got to put the little lid on, the little knob on the lid, a little screw right there. A little screwdriver and just tighten that up. And then here's the insert, the plastic insert. I washed it out nice and clean. Drop it right in there. I've got the lid on it. What do y'all think? Y'all think it looks better? Better than the before? I think it does. I think it's just really turned out to be a gorgeous piece, and I think that little white knob on the top just really sets it off. Well, y'all, we finished another upcycle. This concludes another episode of Ginger Snap Thrifting. If you enjoyed this and you haven't already subscribed, I would invite you to do so now and hit the bell so you get notified of my upcoming videos. I love going out and thrifting and snapping up cool finds and showing them to y'all. And I love showing you how you can update a really dated item into something you would be proud to put in your own home. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day, and I hope to see you again soon. This is Ginger with Ginger Snap Thrifting.